Hello folks, welcome to the Williams-Ensworth Friday Night Wrap-Up Show presented by Jack in the Box. When you see me coming out of this intro, I'll be at a totally different location. Yeah, this is actually Thursday night. Ensworth at MBA, they trail 14-10 at halftime. We'll have plenty of highlights from this game, a full recap as well on the Wrap-Up Show coming up here on the Williams-Ensworth. Yes, different location, but on Thursday I was a little bit drier. We got a pop-up shower right in the second half of this game between Ravenwood and Centennial. It was our game of the week, and we do have highlights from those. We'll get to those in just a moment. I can do cold, I can do rain. Don't like to mix those two together. This is going to be a rough wrap-up show to try to get through, but we'll get through it. Our Jack in the Box athletes of the week. Nate Johnson from Independence is 8 receptions for 262 yards and 3 touchdowns. And Callie McKinney from Franklin, she's pretty much earned those honors like all year with the way she's been playing for Franklin, for the Franklin Rebel soccer team. So now to those highlights. Ensworth, Montgomery Bell Academy, another great finish.
Of course, when these two rivals meet, it's always intense. Here we are in the second quarter. MBA with a long drive, finished with the touchdown. That put them ahead 14-10. And then the Tigers. PJ Settles starting the second half with a good drive, giving his team back the lead at 17-14. The Ensworth traveling student section enjoying it, and then a fumble deep in Ensworth territory, recovered by the Big Red. Recovered by the Tigers. They got the ball back, leading 17-14. And then this guy, Darius Moorhead. What a game he had. Just one of his many big plays, as you'll see later on in these clips. That put them up 24-10. Now we're in the fourth quarter. And PJ Settles diving for the end zone, just short of going in for 6. And a couple plays later, Darius Moorhead would finish off that drive. Touchdown Ensworth. They are well in control now. And NBA fans about to call it an early night. They get ready to leave, but then deep down the field, touchdown, Big Red. They're back in the ballgame. And their student section going crazy, but now going to go for 2 to try to cut the lead to 8. And a nice shovel pass there to Ty Chandler. They get the 2-point conversion. It's now just an 8-point Ensworth lead. But on the ensuing kickoff, and this is when you thought the wind had been completely taken out of NBA sails, Rico McGraw, the Alabama commit, is going to go the distance. Touchdown Tigers, and they're right back up by 15. But immediately responding is the Big Red. The pass to Ty Chandler, breaking about 3 or 4 tackles, going to the house. And, yep, that's where the ball goes. Touchdown, MBA. It's back to a 7-point lead after once again getting the 2-point conversion. Now Ensworth going for it on third down. That's another touchdown for Darius Moorhead. Once again, they're back up by 15. 14. And this on a 4th and 5 with just under 4 minutes to play, deep in their own territory. MBA stays alive. Then this pass caught in the end zone, barely staying in bounds for the touchdown. Now NBA would need to recover the onside kick with just over a minute to play. It's tipped around and then somehow recovered by Montgomery Bell Academy, and they're going to have a chance to tie the game. The play fake, looking to be in trouble. Looks like he is. Somehow able to roll out, go deep down the field, finding his receiver inside the 10-yard line. And they're in business. Clock stops to move the chains. Just about 30-plus seconds to go. MBA needs to hurry up. No timeouts. They got to get in the end zone and kick the extra point to tie. There's the touchdown. Extra point ties it. They would make it, and we go to overtime. An incredible comeback. Seems so unlikely with just 3 minutes to play. Well, really less than that. They trailed by 14. Now, here we are in OT. And going right up the middle, down to the 1 yard line. Ensworth thinking that should have been a fumble. It was not called a fumble, said the ball calls it. You see Ensworth, head coach, unhappy about that decision. But it would bring up a third down, and this is after legal procedure. That ended up being huge. Instead of it being 3rd and goal from the 1, it's 3rd and goal from the 6. And a fumble recovered by the Tigers. They're a score away from winning the football game. And the student sections that have moved to the end zones can feel it now. And of course, it just had to be Darius Moorhead getting the call. 2nd down, right up the middle, touchdown, Tigers, they win it. A huge, emotional bounce-back win after that loss to McCallie. As the students coming onto the field, another wild ending here in our wrap-up show. Emotional PJ Settles, Rico McGraw, other teammates, they're excited. This is what it's all about. Here's what their head coach had to say.
Both teams are pretty good on offense, and both teams are not very good defensive teams. And I think that's been consistent within our league. I haven't been in any games where I don't know how many points we scored and how many points they scored, but it was a bunch. You know, even take out the overtime. I mean, you know, you get some extra points there, but you know, 80 points in a high school game. There's not enough time to do that. That shouldn't happen. So.
Is that more credit to the offensive guys, that the skill position players and the offensive lines of these teams?
You know, I think maybe well, the game is better right now at the high school level in part because they changed the rules. They've allowed kids to throw, you know, longer and be together more, I think, and that's helped the offensive game. It's really hard to help the defensive game. It really doesn't translate as well to defense. So I think that's part of it. And then the other part of it, I think, is more and more of teams are platooning. And so you have one really good player, 44 for them, 1 for us, and then they don't have as good a guys on defense to tackle the good guys. So,
right.
You know,
right.
That's part of it maybe. I'm not sure.
Yeah, literally almost got ran over during that celebration with the Ensworth students, but made it out okay. Now to our game of the week. Right here, Ravenwood Centennial. A lot of trash talk going on this week. Not so much from the players, but from the fan bases, so it had this game extra hyped. The student sections were rocking well before kickoff. And here's how this one went down.
More rivalry. Ravenwood hosting Centennial. Here's Nick Barton. What a big day for him. That's one of his 2 interceptions on the night. We'll get to his other one momentarily. And here are the special teams with the big play. A blocked punt covered in the end zone by Jeb Stewart for the touchdown. That would be the only touchdown of the first half for either team. It's 10-0. And again, Centennial looking deep, and you don't throw near Nick Barton. Another interception. Ravenwood with the ball back. And now in the third quarter, pouring rain. I mean, a downpour. Seth Rowland finds the end zone. A big game out of number 24. You'll hear more from him later. That touchdown put them up 3 scores. They lead at 3-possession game. They lead at 17-10. See the rain just coming down, and the fans don't care. How about this play? This is when you know things are going right. Cole Brown fumbles the snap, but somehow gets it to Alston Percy, who picks up a big gain. It looked like that ball was going towards Centennial's way, and one thing you probably should do is fall on it, but Cole Brown makes a play out of it somehow, and then in the same drive, finding Percy again, this time in the end zone for the touchdown. 24-0. Ravenwood have this game sealed. Still undefeated are the Raptors. The defense not giving up anything. Coach Hester praising his defense. after the 24-0 win over Centennial.
There's not a group of kids that play as a team better than this defense does. I would put them up against anybody. You know, they study, they know what's going to come from the opponent. They work their tail off. The coaches do a wonderful job of getting prepared week to week. And I mean, to hold that team who's been rushing for 200 yards, that has the three-headed monster that they have, to 0 points, to 80 stinking yards in the first half. I mean, come on. That's a heck of a football game right there. The rivalry. These kids know those kids. They went to middle school together. Some of them, 30% of Woodland goes over there. You know, obviously there's some chitter chatter back and forth. I mean, you spend too much time together for it not to mean something. It means a lot to these kids. You know, there was a lot of talk about, you know, I mean, just this and that. We weren't going to be able to handle up to the physicalness of those guys. You know, our kids wear it as a badge of honor that people want to underestimate them all the time. And we're going to continue to do that. And I'm darn proud of our kids.
He told us yesterday, he said, he probably get mad if I say it, but he told us a quote. He said, see, I know something that they don't know. What I know is we know we're going to win, and they hope to win. That just got us really going, and we really thought about that. I kept getting a lot of tweets this week, and I just kept retweeting them because I knew it was going to happen. I mean, I wasn't even worried about them. I mean, I know they don't want to say nothing to me now, but I like Centennial student section. They were really live in our student section, and I give a lot of credit to both student sections. It got me feeling really good, and yeah, it just gives me hype, my team hype when we see that. Feels the fire.
And there you have it, 6-0 Ravenwood, 5-1 Centennial, and that's convincing as it gets. 24-0. Centennial never really challenged for this game. It was all Ravenwood from start to finish. And really, guys, I don't know how anyone's going to be able to score on this Ravenwood defense. They're, like Coach said, people aren't talking about it enough. Well, they're going to be talking about it now. Independence had the weapons to score against Ravenwood. They were only able to put 7 on the board. Centennial had the three-headed monster. They didn't put any on the board. This Ravenwood defense is pretty stout. I just can't see how anybody's going to be able to score on them in this district. Maybe Franklin will be able to do that. We'll see in the Battle of the Woods. Maybe something can open up, but they look tough. They look really tough. Good win for Ravenwood here today. Now, also another team in action. When we come back, we'll get to those highlights. Brentwood Academy hosting PJP2.
Attention Monster Taco fans! Get ready for a night of Monster Taco madness! With 2 new Monster Taco flavors from Jack in the Box, face off! Introducing the Bacon Ranch Monster Taco, crushing it with strips of bacon and creamy ranch versus the Nacho Monster Taco, coming hard with nacho cheese and jalapenos! Monster, Monster, Monster Tacos! Too much?
Needs an explosion.
All right, folks, welcome back to the wrap-up show. Here we're on location at Ravenwood High School, where the Raptors improved to a 6-0 on the year with a 24-0 win over district rival Centennial. Our own Rob Sykes was at Brentwood Academy and PJP2. We have highlights from that. We'll go ahead and get to those.
All right, so PJP2 traveling to Brentwood Academy. The Eagles seem to play in the most close games of the past 4 weeks, but tonight it was all BA. No questions about it. As you see the keeper there from Oatsville, then Sean Lumpkin would finish it off. He punches it in from the 1 to make it a 7-0 game. Jeremiah Oatsville continuing to look good in the pocket. Threw a couple touchdowns to Forrest Wright, Cameron Johnson in the same corner of the end zone. It would be all Brentwood Academy as they win it 50-20.
So another blowout. Brentwood Academy rolling past an opponent again this week. Rob Sykes was making some trips, making some rounds. He went to another game and another District 11 game. Brentwood hosting Franklin, the Bruins, trying to pull off the upset.
What a win this could be for the Bruins if they could pull us off. Remember, they took Centennial to overtime. Franklin having a much easier time with Brentwood on Friday. Joe Critchlow finding his receiver there, and again over the middle, this time to Carson Young for the touchdown. This one was all Franklin, no doubt about it. The Rebels in business. Landon Craddock with a touchdown. They win it 42-6. And a dominating performance by the Franklin Rebels on Friday.
So that now leaves us with just 2 teams in District 11 that do not have a loss, and that's, of course, being the Franklin Rebels and the Ravenwood Raptors. They will meet in a couple of weeks, and gosh, that would be the, 4th time that Ravenwood would be involved in the game of the week, but it's all about, we'd like to pick some other teams, other games, but sometimes it's all about calling a spade, and with as hyped as that game will be, that would, if things play out over the next week, over Week 7, Week 8 will probably have to be, the game of the week will probably have to be Ravenwood and Franklin. So let's get to some scores from around Williams County that we didn't get to, games we didn't get to today. So we'll take a look at these.
Some of those games we're talking about: CPA winning easy over Spring Hill 47-21. Dixon County holds on to beat Summit 14-7. Fairview, another big win. They beat Lewis County 31-14. Battleground Academy beating Davidson Academy by 30, 47-17. So we'll move on to some of the other games going on in one of the thrillers. After we talk about FRA getting a big win over Zion Christian, Page, for the 2nd straight week, defeat a team in overtime on a 2-point conversion attempt. They beat Giles County 31-30. Incredible run the last 2 weeks for the Patriots in 2 games that they had to have, and they got them. A big win on the road over the Bobcats. Patriots 31, Giles County 30.
And that will do it from a chilly Ravenwood High School as the Raptors win 24-0, convincing fashion. We always enjoy listening to Coach Hester give his pregame speech to the students and to his players. They're fired up. They're ready to go out and party. And we're going to go ahead and wrap this thing up. And we'll see you actually on Sports Source on Monday to give you some highlights from the games we weren't at. And don't forget about our preview show on Thursday, previewing some big games and a lot. I tell you what, it comes out on Thursday. You're going to get to it a little bit earlier, as there are going to be a couple of games with some of the schools on fall break that'll be going on Thursday. So make sure to go check that out, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. We'd like to give our thanks to 104.5 and Chad Withrow and the crew there, and of course our sponsor Jack in the Box for help sponsoring our Friday night wrap-up show here on the Williams Source. We'll see you on Monday. Thanks for watching.